Hey guys, it's Brian again. Today we got a pressure washer. This is a Mighty M belt drive with one of the AR pumps on it. You can see it's been used pretty well. So customer tells me that the pressure is low, and not only is the pressure low, but it pulsates when the machine is running through the gun and hose. The water is pulsating. So I think we have a valve issue. So that's what we're going to look at today. Before we get started, safety. Wear whatever you need to be safe. Make sure there's no pressure hazards, no shock hazards, things of that nature. You want to be safe. I want you to come back and watch more videos. And as I mentioned in my other videos, this is a working shop, so there's times I have to pause the video, but I usually try to do a straight walkthrough on these videos, be as quick as I can and be as concise. If you have any questions, you could drop them in the comments. If you got a request, you could drop them in the comments. So we're going to start by removing the plugs. I like to start from the top, then to the bottom. You can use your ratchet or impact, whatever you've got handy. Just be careful because this is brass. The plugs are not brass on this one, but the head is. A little bit tight. So now we got the plugs out. You got your valves are inside here and here. So I'm going to start, I like to pull from the top first. I'm going to pull them out. And we're looking for damaged valves, or valves where the plate's not seating properly due to trash. This one looks okay. I'm going to set it back in. This one looks okay. I don't see any of the plastic broken or anything like that. You can push, make sure that the plate's moving back and forth against the spring and seating properly. Flat down, no gaps. Looks all right. Sometimes you'll see where these valves, they will get hot and they'll start to melt. The plastic around it will actually melt. And the bottom ones, we usually have the rust in it like this because the water, after it sits, the water stays down at the bottom, so this is submerged in water for longer than the upper ones, so they're more likely to rust. Again, we're pushing and checking.
Brian, line one.
Okay, so The valves actually look good, but I did notice something else that didn't look right. You notice on the side here, your sight glass is real cloudy. So I'm going to pull this plug out at the top. You notice what color the oil is. That's not oil color, that's oil watercolor. So we got oil in the crank, so we're going to pull the head off. We're going to take a look at the inside where the packings are. Usually when you have pulsation, that's a bit. Yeah, usually when you have pulsation, the first thing I'm going to check is going to be the valves, because you got a valve that's not opening and closing properly because something's obstructing it, then you're going to get pulsation. So we're going to pull this head off real quick because the valves look fine. If what I think's going on is a problem, then we're going to be putting a new pump on this machine, because the cost of repair will exceed the cost of replacing the pump. And that's going to be up to the customer once we get a look at it. Come on, get in the hole. Pull this off now. Yeah, look at that. Good video, good video. All right. So you see, these are your pistons. And the black circles are normal. That's just wear against the soft parts inside of the packings. And that's normal. And the way this operates, when it's running, these pistons will go back and forth. But you see, only one is moving. So that's why we have pulsation. Only one is moving. So instead of all three cycling through like a car engine, only one is hitting. And the one that is hitting is, I don't know if you can see it, you got cracks. So this is bad, which means this has to be replaced. Also means the packings have to be replaced because they're now damaged, because this is ceramic. It's like glass cutting on the packings. These are not moving because, just like in a car engine, you've got a crank, and you have connecting rods that push these up and down, just like in a car. You got two broken connecting rods in here. That's why these are not moving. So we're going to pull this one over here and see if we can get a little better shot on the inside. Let me get a rag. This is going to be a little bit messy. It doesn't look like there's much oil in there, so might not be too messy. Still the wrong one. But not the camera. So you see what we got here. See that oil coming out? It's mixed with water. These are your bearings. The bearings are not even, they should spin, but they're not moving. So, all right. So on the inside, like I mentioned, it's like a car engine. You've got your crank, you've got your connecting rods, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to pull this one off the machine just yet until I find out what the customer wants to do. But I've got another pump here from another situation, exactly the same pump, and you can see, kind of hard to see, that's your crank, and you can see if I can set this camera, this flashlight up so you hopefully can see a little better. Here's where your connecting rods connect, and on that one, these are broken. So they're not connected to this at all. Your cam, crankshaft, whatever you want to refer to it as. So on this particular one, the bearings blew out on the side, so you can go straight from the inside to the outside. So everything just died on this one, and throw this pump away and put a new one. Same situation on this. And I've had people ask, can't you just replace the parts on the inside? Oh yeah, just like an engine, you can rebuild it. But rebuilding an engine for a vehicle versus rebuilding the pump, it's just not as cost effective. On an engine, you've got several $100s, $1,000 worth of parts, but the engine itself could be valued at $1,500, $2,000, $3,000. These, by the time you replace a $160 piston, it just fell apart when I touched it. $160 piston plus $250 worth of packings, along with, in this case, 2 connecting rods and everything inside of here, you're going to spend double to repair this versus replacing it. So in this situation, it'd be better to replace the pump. This was due to the fact, more than likely, one of two things. The piston's cracked, and that's going to happen for one of two reasons. Either it froze during the winter and it cracks it. Water, it cuts the packings and the oil seals. Water gets inside. And when water gets inside, water and oil mix, and it does not lubricate properly. Or this could have cracked because someone left this machine running without pulling the trigger. You have to pull the trigger occasionally, every few minutes, to circulate out the hot water and get cool water in. If it gets too hot and the cool water comes in where you let it sit running, then these get hot, and these are ceramic, so they're like glass. When the hot water escapes and the cold water hits it, they'll crack. And I've heard people argue that point, that I'm wrong, but I can tell you for a fact they have no idea what they're talking about. I have videos on how hot this water can get when you just leave it sit and run. Check that video out, and you'll see when this thing's sitting at close to 200 degrees and you hit it with cold water at 45, 50 degrees, it'll crack. But take a glass, heat it up to about 200 degrees, and then drop it in cold tap water, and I guarantee you it's going to crack. And that's what happens here. So we're not going to do a complete repair here, but at least you got an idea of what you can expect when water gets in your oil, when the pump is not protected from freezing in the wintertime, or possibly allowing it to run without cycling cool water through the pump occasionally. But more than likely, we're going to replace the pump on this. The cost of replacing this machine is probably right around $1,200, $1,300. The pump itself is going to be probably $500 plus labor. So you're sitting at about half the price to replace this versus replacing the entire machine. If you got any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section below, and I'll see what I can do. If you got a request, let me know. You guys be safe.